All right. Well, I'm back. Last night started a live feed and had to get off of it real quick. Something came so we're back at it this morning. If anybody wants to pop in. So good afternoon, morning, evening, wherever it's at, wherever you're at. Good day to the Bits and Bobs channel people and my subscribers, long term and short term. Anyway, we're gonna do a live feed today, and we're gonna cover a lot of things. So some fun, some cool, some interesting, some about where I'm at in my life. So if you pop in here and you want to visit, say something, have a topic of conversation, it's always open. So like and subscribe. It always helps me out. So there you go. Sunday afternoon. Probably nobody's gonna show up, but that's all right. So some of the stuff that's kind of cool is Polly is my AI project is now writing music as well as drawing images, and Polly's doing pretty good at it, actually. Polly's doing real good at it, and I think we're going to flip this around, right? That's stupid. There we go. All right, so that's even better. But Polly's doing a lot of good stuff. But anyways, she's made a couple of songs. In fact, you can go to my I think I posted it up here in the videos. There's a music video called "The Lies of Elon," and The Lies of Elon. And it's pretty interesting. If you're an anti-Tesla person or even if you're a pro-Tesla person, it's pretty interesting because it covers a lot of stuff that isn't usually done. And Polly came up with a really cool soundtrack for it and lyrics for it, and did all the visuals for it. So check it out. It's on my feed. It's called "The Lies of Elon." So anyway, it is what it is. I don't know if anybody's going to pop in here. Oh, but what's going on? So I've been, I ran into this podcast. I've seen this guy pop up on my feed in Facebook and YouTube. This guy, he's younger. He's about 23 years old. He's in a kind of a colonialish looking get up, and he is canoeing. It's a really cool canoe. Really cool canoe. And in this get up garb, right? And so anyway, so he's 23 years old. Hey, whoever popped in, talking about this really cool canoe trip. 6,000 miles this guy's doing right now. He's on in fact, in the link here in the description, there's a link to his to a podcast about him. I just got done listening to. So this 23-year-old guy is really cool. He got in a car accident younger in life, right? Had titanium put all through his body. A year and a half to recover from it, and rode across the country on a unicycle. To raise monies for a group that helped support his parents when he was in the hospital for a year. And hello, everybody. Thank you for stopping in. This is going to be an interesting story. And there's a link to the podcast in the description for this. So anyway, so he to pay back and to raise money for this group that helped his family him out when he got in this accident. He got run over by a car. He went on a unicycle. Trip across the country, the United States, on a unicycle. and raised $34,000 for the charity that helped him out. Give back to him. And I think he was 19 when he did that. He's 23 years old now, and he was looking for adventures, and goes through the story in the podcast in the description. He tells his whole story. But the big adventure he's on right now is he's in a canoe, and he's doing what's called the Great Loop. Now, the Great Loop is doing the waterways, and a lot of people do it in powerboats, right? It circumnavigates, starts in Canada or at the headwaters of the Mississippi, goes down the Mississippi, out in the Gulf of Mexico, around Florida, and then up the East Coast to Canada, and then across Canada and the Great Lakes to back to the headwaters of the Mississippi. It's called the Great Loop. And people do it in powerboats all the time, right? The big boats. It takes them anywhere from 3 months to some people do 3 years, right? Depending on how they're traveling this thing. And Vincent Gonzalez said, anybody that didn't say, um, um, there's something in here said, hi back. I'm really horrible at looking at at the, but, the text, but I'll try to catch it more. So anyway, so so he goes around and he travels around, right, and on these adventures, right. And he buys this canoe, uh, this big, heavy whitewater canoe, expedition whitewater canoe. He starts a trip, and going down, I don't know, Mississippi or somewhere, and gets 700 miles into it, and whatever. He ends up traveling to Florida on a bicycle. Sells the canoe as a fin. Maybe he just did the Mississippi. Sells the canoe, buys a bicycle, um, and finds another canoe along the way. This expedition canoe, really nice one, down in Florida. So he rides his bike 700 miles to get this thing. Gets the canoe and has like $6 in his pocket, and he starts a trip up from there and around Florida, right? Somewhere and down around Florida, and decided he was going to do a long story short, decided he was going to circumnavigate the Great Loop in this canoe. It's a 17-foot expedition. It's sort of a cross between a canoe and a kayak, right? It's a canoe with a deck on it, with a hole on it. The deck is covered, so, and he can put like 4 months worth of food, dehydrated food, in there. And these are made for big time expeditions, right? The guys who's designed this canoe is in the 70s did 28,000 miles in it for this big um, expedition. So it's kind of fascinating if you dig into this guy. Um, and like I said, I got his information in the description. So anybody that wants to check him out, you can check on that. The podcast is there. It talks all about him and do a deep dive on him. It's really, really cool. So anyway, so I've been seeing him on social media. He pops up in a lot of shorts, and it's interesting because he's in this kind of colonial or kind of French-ish colonial, Canadian garb that he sewed himself. But he was talking about his trip. He was coming down from Canada, and for this circumnavigation, he was in Wilmington, North Carolina. He did this podcast back at the first of the year, and he was stuck there because it was so cold for waiting out a weather window. Because it was down in the 20s there, and it's probably pretty hard to be on any little teeny tiny boat moving down towards Florida. But check it out. Check out this podcast. It's fascinating. I mean, this is a guy that there, has all sorts of titanium in him. Has a lot of has got to be problematic for everything he does, but it doesn't stop him. Fantastic story, fantastic outlook, living life large. One of the few people, I think, the young people that are worth kind of following and looking up to and seeing how things are being done right. as far as an outlook to life. So anyway, it's an hour and a half long. This podcast is on YouTube, and you'll get hooked into it, and you won't want to stop listening to it. But probably most people won't be able to listen to the long form. They don't have to stop it. That's the problem with some of these podcasts that are small podcasts. Is they come on, they're like me. They just talk, right? But it's fascinating. And he's on it still, and you can track him. If you listen to the whole podcast, at the end, it starts talking about a program that, or his website, and you can actually track him with GPS where he's at any one given time. So, highly recommend looking at the podcast. And if you're interested in him, find his website. And he has one like I do. He has one of the buy me a coffee things, and donate some money to him because he's doing this on his own. And he's starting to figure it out, and he's picked up some work. And he's a good writer. I read some of the articles he's wrote. That he's writing along this trip. So donate to him, help him out. It's a fascinating story. It's amazing. It's amazing to see somebody like him and what he's learning, and his outlook on life that he's getting. It's quite refreshing compared to a lot of what's going on in the world right now. So there is hope, at least for some people, and hopefully he will. Hopefully in his life he's going to go far with whatever he wants to do. He's very down to earth. All right, so there's that, a 6,000-mile canoe trip. Just think about that. I mean, not only do you have to go one way or another, he's kind of doing it backwards. He's coming down the East Coast first and then coming up the Mississippi, which is going to be tough for him. It's going to be tough. He's going to fight that Mississippi current all the way back up. So only one person apparently has done it that way. And I guess a few people have done it by canoe, but they've always gone down the Mississippi first and not come out from the outside of the East Coast first, because apparently it's a lot more difficult. All right, so that's cool. That's really cool. Anything I talk about, anybody that pops in, go ahead. If you want to talk more about it, then just put something in the comments. It's always good. And like and subscribe. It's always good for this channel. So I just wanted some other stuff that you see actually on the channel. Polly, my AI. Let's talk about AI. Who plays an AI at all, other than just using ChatGPT or anything? Well, I do. And I've been kind of playing around with what I'm calling a micro AI, right? This little project I'm doing. Well, my little project's named Polly, which is named after my grandmother for a lot of reasons. But Polly has gotten to the point where Polly's gotten very good as an AI and doing certain things. Polly now actually writes music and draws images. So it's really, really cool. So I did had her create a soundtrack, music and lyrics for a song about Elon Musk. Whether you like Elon Musk's another story. But this is about Tesla and a lot of the stuff that's going on in the background that a lot of people don't hear about, or they don't know what's going on. But it's kind of some really, really evil-y stuff. And stuff, not evil, but it's bad stuff, like, broken promises and things like that. So anyway, so she wrote this song, and it came out really, really well for her kind of intro into songwriting. I mean, it's amazing what she came up with and put together. And you can find that on my YouTube channel here under I think I loaded it the other night. It's called Lies for Elon. Lies for Elon. It's kind of dark looking when you find the video. It's only about a 3-minute video, something like that. But look for it. It's just in the last couple of days. Let me know if you find it. Put a comment in the comment section and what you think about the song and how she did in composing it. Pretty cool. So the AI is getting really cool. My little AI project is getting really, really cool, and it's taking me a lot deeper than where I first started and the reasons I first started it. And probably should actually do a lot more blogging on why I did it and what's going on and how it's coming. Because I call it a micro AI, and it can tie into um, other stuff. Anyway, so check that out. Um, if you want, I really would like for you to tell me about the song, whether you like it. And it doesn't matter about the topic, whether you like the beat, whether it makes sense, whether the lyrics kind of are timed out right, that kind of stuff. So whoever else has popped in here, thank you very much for popping in. Say hi. Tell me, if it's something I talk about, then let me know. Um, we can always talk about anything. Um, the AI is interesting. Tesla's interesting, isn't it? Tesla's interesting in itself. And I've been playing with on those boards a little bit on X. A friend of mine got me involved in that, and it's interesting. We start really deep diving into stuff. Start looking at the pros and the cons and stuff, and all the stuff that that doesn't get mentioned in the press, right? Nobody really knows about. But when you start looking at it, it's kind of bad. So that's Tesla. That's Elon Musk, right? A little bit of a hypocrite and braggadocious, um, narcissistic, a whole bit. So the other stuff, and then there's of course me, and I am I'm to the point where something has to change. Something has to change because if not, I'm going to die. My body's going to shut down and just die. Um, and I've talked about it before. Mental health, right? Mental health is mm, people go through life, and I've come to this conclusion that, I'm older. I'm in my 60s. A lot of this crap was really, really quiet when I was a young kid. So if you got abused or there are problems going on in your life, your family's life, it's a lot more. There's a lot more of it than what we knew. Um, a lot more than what we knew, and it affected a lot of us, right? It affected families. I mean, it affected families and fucked families up. And I'm going to not really hold back on some of this stuff today. I mean, it screwed families up, a lot of families up. Uh, and screwed families up for life. I mean, it screws people up. It screws people up. What happened? The abuse, whether it be physical, mental. It was, the controlling natures. And you go back and you look at families, and you go back if your family was involved, and you can see how people they closed up or how they dealt with this. Right, none of it was healthy, and it sticks with you all your life. You go through, when you finally realize it, 30, 40, 50 years later. Um, oh, hey there, Palestine, how you doing? Good to see you. You've hit a must for years. Oh, your back is killing you today. That sucks. That sucks. Turn it up, buddy. Turn it up. I'm just kidding. I hope you feel better. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. But anyway, back to the and it screws you up. It screws families up. I look at families that I know, and you look at people, and all of a sudden you look at them under the when you get more information about what was going on in the families. You can see how how it screwed people up, the whole family up, just one person. If you have a mom or a dad that's abusive, um, and how the whole family, the kids, and whatever the kids, however the kids deal with it when they're this little, they deal with it all their whole life. And they don't even know it, right? It affects everything. It affects everything in their life. If they get married, divorced, their outlook on life, their outlook on people, um, how they function in life. Hey, Christopher Brown, how are you? Thanks for stopping in. Like and subscribe. How you just, everything is involved. And there's a point where you can't, it's too late, right? This kid is doing this 6,000 mile canoe trip, right? I mean, he was kind of mentioning this too, right? Problems and stuff, and how it can affect you, and trying to do things right, and adversity. But it's one thing to have adversity, right, and to deal with adversity, but it's another one to be what's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a word. Um, I don't know what word I'm looking for. Somebody knows. Put it in the thing. To be I'm gonna call it crippled with this when you're young and during your formative years, right? Or you have, your spouse is abusive, and what you do to cope with it, the coping mechanisms, can affect you and your family for the rest of your life. And that's kind of what happened in my life with a bad dad, evil dad. But I see where I can see where it affected everybody. Everybody that was surrounded, not just the family, but the surrounded the family, right? Things he did to other people, their families. And, how you look back now, years and years, 20, 30, 40 years later, and you just see the paths. You can see the problems. And, of course, mental health was not a big deal back then, right? This was all hidden, right? This was all hush-hush. You didn't even talk about it. People didn't talk about it, right? It was just stuffed away, and you dealt with it the best you could. And when you're a kid, the way you deal with it is, everybody deals with it differently, right? But none of it's good. You pay for it for the rest of your fucking life. You'll never get away from it, no matter what the kind of abuse it is. I think a lot of people say that they put it past them, right? I don't think you ever put it past you. I don't ever think you do, and I think it's there. And then, I don't know. Yeah, I know, Pouncey. I know the images that you get. The things you see as a kid, right? They're ingrained. They're ingrained in you. It's one of those things. Once you see it, you can never unsee it, right? But there's one thing to see an image or see a picture, you can never unsee it, right? And I think of early internet, right? There's a couple of images that are famous that went through the rounds that were pretty disgusting, that were pretty shocking at the time. Now it's interesting because they're not shocking, right? Because you become immune to you become used to it, and then which is bad that you become immune to it. It's really bad to this garbage, right? It's just so much of it. But you get immune to it as a kid. I mean, it's just part of your life. It's in there. And you can forget about it even. You repress it, right? That's the proper term, repress. But it doesn't ever leave you. It just burrows into the subconscious, and it still affects you. And it affects your relationships, for the rest of your life. It affects your relationships with people that you date and that you marry or don't marry. it rips trust, it rips decency, right? Because um, it just colors everything you see. That took me a long time to come to grips with that. Long time to come to grips with that. I think a lot of people don't come to grips with it. A lot of people don't realize it, and then they struggle their whole life, some way or another. Um, and sometimes you can see the manifestations. Sometimes you can't because they're the silent demons that they deal with, right? They put up a front. Even with those people, when you look closely, you can see the front they're putting up. None of it's healthy. The best thing that can happen is something that happens to you because it's not their fault, right? It's not your fault that you're put in this bullshit. Just to hopefully deal with it early, or at least recognize it early, which is easier now, right? Even though it's not easy. People, I mean, we'd never be having this discussion that we had, you know, 30 years ago. But it's kind of too late for me. Um, are you like done? I'm like done, dude. Um, I'm not done for the day. No. Um, but the it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. Everybody's so fucked up. No wonder everything's fucked up in the world, right? Because we've gone through generations of this stuff, right? And it's just kind of building to a head. And then you've got other people that are still doing it, right? That are manipulating people. And I think that's it. This is all manipulation. All of this stuff is manipulation and control. Even when I look at Bad Dad, I mean, all the shit he did. I mean, just some really fucked up bad stuff. But it just keeps building and building. We're all affected by it one way or another. If you haven't, then see yourself lucky. I don't know too many people that. The more I talk to people, the more I'm been on this the last couple of years. From a little, kind of just my path. A lot of people have come out with their stories. People that I would have not would have never have thought had stories. Some of them, some of them managed to get through it. A lot of us haven't. Most people haven't, I don't think. So anyway, for me, I don't know. I've got to change something because if I don't, I'm gonna end up I'm going to die. I'm going to die one way or another. I'm beginning to understand that the will to live, right? Which is interesting because they were talking about that on that podcast on the guy that's doing the canoe trip. I'm telling about a story about a guy whose boat capsized, fishing boat capsized off of I don't know, Gulf off of Florida or something. And it was capsized, and he and his party were there, and were about ready to give up and just give up, right? That they're going to die. And interesting story. But anyway, I'm beginning to realize that when you get to the point where you keep trying and trying and trying and trying to get things to change, it's just nothing's fucking changing, no matter what you do. Because that's where you're at in life, right? Now this podcast, you gotta listen to this podcast. It's a good one. He even talks about it. Talks about when you're young, you can fail, right? You can change things. He's talking from a guy that's 23 years old, which is pretty deep for somebody that's 23 years old. right, and doing what you're passionate about, yada yada yada. But when you're my age, you don't have that luxury to just keep trying. You have a shot, right? You have a shot, and so you try to do the best you can. And but the problem is it takes time, right? And when it doesn't work out, I mean, you keep doing the same thing because this is a normal thing to do, right? But nothing's happening with it. So what do you fucking do? What do you do? There's nothing to do because there's no real lateral move for you. Well, there are, but they're not. Those lateral moves aren't. They're not any better. You're leading down the same path, right? The path just branches, but they all these branches lead to the same place. There's nothing that does that pulls you at least parallel to that final path. And when you're doing this and trying to survive, and the amount of energy it takes, it wears on you, and then it creates problems with your body, right? Physically. Um, Creates physical problems, and fuck, I see that with me. I've told everybody I don't have insurance. I'm starting to see things that are manifesting that are. I'm gonna turn it to you know where I'm at, and you just kind of start losing your will because just what are you going to do? You're spinning your wheels, right? It's just there's nothing out there, and you do it. Particularly me, you're doing it by yourself, and you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it if you don't have support. If you don't have somebody to, if you don't have, you know, if you don't have a lot of stuff, right? If you don't have, I talk about Maslow's hierarchy. If you're not even on fucking Maslow's chart, you're dead. You can't get out of it. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of what you do to survive till you lay your head down one night and it's just you know it's done. Your body just says fuck it. I'm starting to see that now. The the coping mechanisms, the things that happen mentally, the things that happen physically. You don't have insurance. I mean, it's just bad. So getting you're stuck, right? And I think that's what happens. I don't know. It's interesting. If I step outside of my own body and kind of look at the situation, it's like I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it, and I don't do it to do. I don't do it to. I don't say this lightly. I don't say it for sympathy or anything. I'm just saying it as an observation at this point. An observation that maybe somebody can take to their heart, or maybe they can understand, particularly for somebody younger. Particularly with somebody younger, like maybe they've got time to figure it out. I don't have the time to figure it out. I can't go back and redo what I did the last 2 years, right? As a reset. And say, oh, that didn't work. Let me try this. I mean, it's just fuck. You know, I don't have the energy to do it. You're just stuck. You're stuck in this hole. You are stuck in this hole. And, and then I got this message from somebody, right? And it was kind of a weird one. Again, it's one of these pop-ups. The pop-ups. If it's a pop-up, somebody, I know exactly where it's going now before I even know it, because you respond back a couple times and then boom, they start pushing their crap on you. Happened again. Happened again. And I'm about ready to cut. I'm about ready to cut my social media down to the people that I deal with down to maybe 7 people because it's just weird. I mean, and it's obviously they don't look at your social media, right, and say, you don't you stop doing this shit, right? Because they do it anyway. So they're not even people that really pay attention to you, right? You know what did Polly call it? Polly called it something when I was doing something with her. And it was actually, I wrote it down. I have to go look at it. It was quite the observation she had. Uh, Hagrid? Okay. I'm just not tall, though. I'm a little short. Mini Hagrid, maybe. Mini Hagrid. Yeah. Um, I don't do magic either. Uh, or the, see, that's the problem with reading the chat is I lose my train of thought. Uh, anyway, whatever it was. Um, oh yeah, back to where I'm at. The observations. Yeah, when you get to my age, you don't have the luxury of time. You take jokes. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm also a pretty mean son of a bitch if I need to be. That's not that often. At least not here. Uh, um, but when you get to my age, there's just you don't have the luxury of that. Looking outside, looking into somebody. If you don't have anybody around you, and you're totally alone all the time, right? That makes it even worse. So I think the body shuts down. I think the body just shuts down. I think the mind shuts down. Um, I think there's no balance, right? Because you're out there trying to do something because you're trying to survive. You're trying to make sure you have a survival. My age, older than dirt, but not quite as old as the fossils. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel it though. And I look at physically on me with me. Actually, I'm starting to see the effects of stress. Maybe that's what it is, and how serious it is. I don't rate my life. My life is just my life. That's where I'm at the time being. Um, I don't know if anybody can rate their life. I mean, it's just life, right? It's your existence. No, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go existential. um, I'm not gonna do the sorry thing. It's just observations. So, but yeah, I mean, I can do something. I mean, what do you do? I mean, you can't. You get to my position, shit. I can't even find a job because nobody want. I'm not even going that either. I've done that before. I've gone through that before. Um, so I don't know. I mean, it might just be to pack up and it might be time just to. It really might just be time to say fuck it. Go do something fun for a while, and then my body gives out. My body gives out, right? Because why am I gonna spend another? Why am I gonna keep doing what I'm doing? Right? It's killing me. It's fucking killing me anyway. It's killing me anyway. I mean, one way or another, it's gonna kill me. Either it's fucking you can't do this alone. Most people say, "Oh, I'd love to be alone." Right? I saw something. Would you be alone for 10 years for $1 million? Fuck no. Not if you mean alone, alone. Um, I mean, prisoners have a better life. I've said that before too. They have more interaction with people. But it's funny. Oh, I was talking about the person that popped in a conversation with me. Um, After a couple of times back and forth, you know exactly what they're going to do. You know exactly what they're going to do, and They're going to start putting the fucking religion shit on. Don't ever put religion shit on somebody that's struggling. I mean, it's one thing to mention it, but you don't go after somebody like that and say that's the way that you can save, get better in your life. That's bullshit. Because that's not real, right? All you're doing is hurting people. It's one thing to live your life the way that you want, to be that example, right? It's one thing to mention your stuff, but you don't come in after a couple of conversations with somebody and express some concern for it, and then start trying to proselytize them. You know, that is whoever the fuck starts this, and I didn't mean to get into religion. I really didn't. But whoever does this, whoever preaches this in their church and shit, or has this going on in their churches, they need to rise up and say, "Stop it! Stop it! I don't care if you're Muslim. I don't care what religion you are. Stop it! You're hurting fucking people, and it's really bad when you can guess. You can guess that this is what's going to happen, and you're right most of the time, 90% of the time, because I've seen it. I see it. It's really weird. It's never anybody else that gets a church because you just know. It's somebody kind of out of the blue, an acquaintance or somebody. You know what it's going to be. You know it. You know it. You know what it's going to be. And it doesn't surprise you. This one didn't surprise me. Um, it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, I don't care if you talk about religion, but you don't come at it to somebody that's struggling and start doing that. Nobody gives a fuck about being saved at that point. Nobody cares about your message that's continually drowning that message out. First of all, if that's really your point is to try to help somebody, you're turning some people off from your fucking religion by doing that crap. I mean, if your church, your religion believes in doing that, it's the best thing to do. You fucking need to stop it. You need to re-examine it. And then again, you don't even know what the religion of the person is. So marry the same religion. You just bake off shit, right? You bake off shit, and you think that's good. You think that's the right thing to do? Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, is it because people are stupid, or or have they bought into bullshit? Yep, that's probably true. But when you get into that mindset, step back out of it for a while. Maybe that's a Sunday sermon for people to have their preachers and pastors talk about. The effects of this stuff. Think before you open your fucking mouth. Think about where the person is at. Do they want this? Or if this is what I want to do this stuff, let's find out a little bit more about them first. And then second of all, let's do it in a way that's not this fucking bullshit way they do stuff. You're hurting people. You're hurting people. In fact, you may kill people. You may drive people to fucking do things that they didn't because of this shit. Oh, I know it happens because this is all important to everybody. Whatever's important to you is important to the other person, wherever they're at in their life. People don't think. Then I have other people that I know that believe that stuff, but they don't push it, right? They live it. They live the example. But they don't come at you with the guns blazing with their religion. I don't want to get into that today. I think it needs to be said. Maybe it needs to be said a lot because it keeps fucking happening to me, which is real funny. It's real funny. Then you never hear from them, right? Ever. Until something like this. It's like putting a fucking notch in their goddamn belt. Oh, I'm going to do this. It's I mean, it's bad. I said, I see it. You can see it coming a mile away, right? You know exactly what's going to happen. It's just, or maybe I read people better than other people do. I don't know. Read their intentions, their actions a little bit better. But it's hurting people. And if you got people in your life doing that, I guess the best thing to do is to call them out, right? If you don't stop it, then, or you just get rid of them, right? But the people that aren't really in your life at all, you don't have interactions other than that, and you look at that and they pop up, and there's nothing else that binds you together with them anymore. Say your business acquaintances 20 years ago, and they don't talk anymore. All of a sudden they pop up in your social media doing this stuff. Probably time just to delete that person, because there's an ulterior motive in there when it starts out like that. I've been doing that. I've been deleting people out of my social media. Social media is evil. Either Mac Hawks, how are you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for popping in. So anyway, yeah, that's my rant. I mean, it's evil, and I don't know. I put on there, am I quitting? Yeah, I'm fucking quitting. I can't. Somehow or another, I'm quitting. I don't know what I don't know. I know that something's got to change. Something's got to change, or my body's gonna give out. I mean, I feel the energy being drained from me. But I said, what do you do? You plan for the future. I don't have it there. I don't have the time to fucking recover. So, fuck it. Fuck it. Maybe that's nature's way of dealing with it. It's amazing that stress. Maybe it's stress, right? Maybe stress is a key, right? When you get to these points, maybe stress isn't bad. Maybe stress isn't bad. Maybe stress is the body saying, okay, it's time. Let's start, start shutting down, right? And I'm not getting metaphysical stuff, but maybe that's what's going on. Maybe that's it. Maybe the stress isn't bad. We have to deal with stress and stress relief and stuff. But maybe there's a type of stress, and maybe there's a time when stress is a good thing. Probably not. It's an interesting thought, though, isn't it? Let's see here. You have severely limited your social media. It felt good. Yep, I agree. Pound Sand. Catch-22 for me, though. Because it's one thing to limit your social media when you have people around you. I don't have anybody. I have not had a real person-to-person, face-to-face conversation with somebody in 2 fucking years, for the most part. 2 fucking years. That's how fucking alone I am. Have I gone out to dinner with somebody or lunch with somebody and just had a good fucking good conversation, other than two of them, and they turned out being religious fucking nuts. I'm talking about other stuff. Fucking just a normal conversation without any ulterior motives, right? 2 years, more than 2 years now. A man can only deal with that so long. Some people turn to other ways to deal with it, right? They do drugs, alcohol, all sorts of ways to deal with it. Thieving, right? Stealing, trying to survive. Anyway, on a more happy thing, this podcast, everybody's out there, that I put in the description. Go check it out. It's an hour and a half long, but it's worth it. Even if you have to do it in parts. It's fantastic. As a young guy that's kind of got it all together. Doesn't make a lot of money. In fact, he makes hardly any money. He's young and he's adventuring, right? He's learning about himself. I don't think he went to college. I think he's well spoken though, and I think he's got it going on. He's learning about life experiences and learning a lot of stuff. He's writing now. He may have found a career writing in journalism. But go check out that podcast. It's fascinating. It's really, really good. And then take a deep dive into the people he's talking about. What got him into this was he likes being outdoors, and he ran into this thing called the Great Canoe something. Anyway, it's about a guy who, in fact, that's why he has his canoe that he has for his trip. And like I said, you can search out from the podcast with it's got his name and stuff on it. But he documents a couple of books about a couple two guys in the 1970s that built basically the canoe that he has, because this guy started making these canoes called expedition canoes, and 28,000 miles around up to the Arctic Circle, and down through the American West and the Gulf and all the waterways and stuff over, I think, 5 years. And it's fascinating. It's worth a deep dive into this guy, into the history of why he did it, all of it. But it kind of builds it. It's hard to understand exactly what his time frame was talking at the beginning, because he had attempted something similar to this before, and then he kind of melds because of the way of the interviewer wasn't that good. He was good, but he didn't really control the narrative, so it kind of jumps a little bit. But once it sits in and you realize that there were two different trips, similar trips here that he did, then it really gets interesting, because he's doing it right now. And I caught this guy. This guy was popping up in my YouTube and Facebook feeds in the shorts, because he's wearing kind of authentic, we call it costume, and just these little shorts. He was like day 320, day 320 on his trip. I'm in Key West, Florida, right? And they're just short, little 20, 30-second things, but they're pretty interesting. And I always was to the point where I wanted to say, I've got to check out and find out more about this guy. His name is Peter something. Peter something. I can't remember off the top of my head. Like I said, just check out the link. But he's on his tour, his Great Loop thing. He's finished his first third of the trip or more, and that was he's turned Florida, down at the bottom of Florida now. The interview that was done in January, even when it was 15 degrees in North Carolina, and he was waiting that out to continue on. So that was, I don't. So a lot of times I don't get into, I don't find something that's entertaining anymore and kind of refreshing. And his refreshing take on what's going on gives me hope for some of the young people. And some of them aren't all bought into all the crap. Probably because he doesn't have social media a lot, right? I mean, if you listen to his story, I mean, he's there. I mean, he didn't even have on this trip. He didn't even start with like a marine radio, which he should have had. Safety stuff. He was kind of old school on it. Had a compass to help him. And, I mean, he's navigated in open waters off the East Coast. It's pretty ballsy. But he also knows his limitations and tries to stay within them. So, highly recommended. I listened to the whole thing. So, anyway, that's all I've got today. It's been about an hour. Seems like that's my standard time for me to run out of steam ranting. And it always falls back to the same thing. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just angry. I don't know. I probably am. Angry. I guess I have a right to be angry. I guess I have a right to be angry. And it's something I have to go through, right? Something I have to work through anymore. Anyway, that's it. Sorry, it got deep again. I tried to keep it. Started it light. I guess it went light for a while. I guess the next time we'll do more about Polly because I'm doing some really cool stuff with Polly. Maybe my semester starts again tomorrow, and again, something that I signed up again because that's the thing to do, right? It's a smart thing to do. Keep going down that path. But when you do that, you can't do anything else either. It takes all your fucking time. At least it takes all mine. And I'm too fucking tired to give a shit anymore. That's the problem. I'm too fucking tired. Um, I'm too exhausted. And I don't care. I know there's things I should be doing. Maybe. Oh, you think, man, I could be doing that, but you're too fucking tired. And you got everything else that's going on. I've always said it. You can't live with long-term plans, right? You can't even live with daily plans. It's almost minutes and hours. So I don't know. I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know if there's a way to get out of it. I guess if a Brinks truck drops off a bag of money, figure out some way to launder that, maybe it'd be all right. Nah, that's not going to happen. So maybe it's just time. Maybe it's just time for that. I mean, I keep thinking about it more and more about that grand last trip or last thing, and just put everything else out of sight, out of mind, and live life, and and deal with whatever the fuck is left after that. Because 2 years of not being happy. I mean, 2 years of this. I'm done with it. I am done. I mean, I don't wish this what I'm going through to anybody. 730 pound sand. 73 is my friend. So anyway, I need to turn this off and get off some other stuff. So anyway, so like and subscribe. I don't care. I don't. It'd be nice to see people follow along. It'd be nice if some of the people that came in here would actually communicate. I don't know what's wrong with people now. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with people not being able to pick up a phone. I don't know I'm not gonna get on that. I've been on it before. On all this bullshit. Nobody talks to anybody anymore. Maybe I should just need to get away and say, if you want to get up with me, you're going to have to call me. Unless I know you real well. Because even my family won't fucking pick up the phone. It's all fucking texting. I hate fucking texting. It's evil. It's fucking evil. Call your family. Call your friends on the phone. You're doing a disservice to people. You're doing a disservice. You're doing a disservice to yourself. You're doing a disservice to others. You're doing a disservice to humanity. Fucking this isolation bullshit and this fucking text. Everything in 200, everything in 200 characters, right? What the fuck? How did we get into that? How did we all buy into this? Well, none of us are that fucking busy. We say we are. But that might be the problem, because we're too busy with bullshit. We're too busy playing video games. We're too busy on the computer. We're too busy with all this shit. All the trappings of bullshit. Getting rid of some of this crap, we'll probably be communicating better. These tools aren't supposed to take over your life, are they? They're supposed to help your life be a little bit better. But we've let them take them over. We have bought into letting them basically take over, right, for convenience. Is anybody happier in their life because they have text? Does that make your life that much better than picking up the phone call? Is it that much of a difference in your life that you can't pick up and have an actual conversation? If it is, there's a problem you need to examine. We all need to examine that. We all need to examine that. And we all need to talk about it. Nobody will. So with that, anyway, thanks for sticking around. Pants out. Glad to see you. I hope you have a great rest of your day with your family. Give your family a hug. Tell them you love them. All of you do that. All of you do that. And we all get through this shit some way or another, somehow, or we don't. A lot of people don't. So, anybody that's homeless, anybody that's hurting, reach out to them, help them. Reach out to them. Reach out and talk to them. Just do something. A lot of people are alone in this world, and we're all isolating them even more. So with that, I'm out. Thanks for checking in. I got some video coming out hopefully next week of some stuff out in the desert. So some little shorts and stuff. So hopefully I can get those up. It'll depend on what school's done. And I'm going to probably going to one of the old World War II Japanese internment camps that they had, where they were interring the Japanese Americans during World War II, because they didn't know if they were real, friendly to the U.S. or they weren't. Interesting chapter of the U.S. history, and that's actually a good debate to whether that was the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, based on the viewpoint of 1940s and World War II. I mean, we can all argue that wasn't right now, but anyway, that's what it is. So, trying to get out there and maybe do some talking about an Adobe fort. Adobe made a fort made out of Adobe. That's kind of interesting. Is out there too. Maybe some mining stuff. So anyway, y'all have a good day. Have a great Sunday, and hopefully it's a relaxing one for most of you that you guys aren't working or something. And people that caught a little bit of this, thank you very much. Like and subscribe. Until next time, adios.